How do you get that to that? Get that man to that point, not us get that man to, how does that man get to that point where he's humbling himself? Does it take the prayer and the, the laying on the hands of the wife and the going on without him and speaking life
I
over
think it's
him
something in you. It's also a choice. Everything starts with a choice, and they have to be ready to want to submit. Men are stubborn, and if that pride thing, if they don't want to do something, then it won't be done. So you as a wife, I don't think you can make your husband do anything, like I say, a praying wife, but he has to be ready. Just like when you want to stop smoking, you have to be ready. You can pray, lay hands, don't smoke, but if they are not ready to stop smoking,
it's not. And I asked that just because that was the same thing with my husband. He loves God and, raised in the church and everything, but he saw stuff in the church as a young boy that messed him up with preachers and
So does he go to church now?
Yeah, he does now. And actually he walked down, down the aisle and joined and complete, I used to be like, you need to go. Worst thing you can do to somebody. And I let go and I let God and I began to pray. And there was a bunch of crying nights and a bunch of, because I would go by myself, and even with the kids, I was going with the kids by myself. And one day he just walked down, but like you said, he had to get to that point. Like God had to really minister to him and say, okay, you have this family. Like I gave you this family.
Did you ever talk to him about, after he walked down, just a conversation what made you get up? What was it?
I didn't because, he's really passive and really quiet. And, if you make too much a big deal, but slowly he would share. He would share. And, you kind of have to know to deal with people, how to deal with people. Yeah. And slowly he would share bits and pieces about his experience and what he saw and why it took him so long to, trust the pastor again. And, I always say it's not about the pastor, but that's all he saw. He didn't see the spirit of it, being men. So that's all he saw. So it took him a minute to trust again and have faith in church and people and pastors again, because of a lot of stuff that he saw. So yeah, I agree. I think she. I used to be like, you can't pray. Ain't no praying gonna do it. Like you said, the person's got to be ready, man or woman. I think she does. She just needs to go to God. He can change him. She can't change him.
Right.
But he can change him. So yeah, I do agree.
But I also want to pinpoint on too the friends. I know for a while when my husband was going through his transition of being out of the church and into the church, that a lot of his friends weren't necessarily in the church. So to have that influence of people that are in the church who are living God's word and trying to do better as far as the church is concerned, I think he was missing that. And not to say that he was this horrible man or anything like that, but you could see the little things that he didn't necessarily do before that he had been doing. And not to say that his friends made him do anything, but it's kind of almost to say they did in a sense.
Because it's still influence.
Yeah. Right. And, friends are something key too. And we as women, our friends, our friends can influence our shopping. Our friends can influence, how we want to wear our hair.
Where's our kids?
Our single friends can influence your marriage.
Yeah.
If you allow it.
Proceed with caution.
So we're going to go into this last topic that brings us into the submission. It kind of flips because we were just talking about, I want to worship with my husband and it's so wonderful, but then worshiping also with submission from the wife's perspective. Like I said, I love my husband, that he's a worshiper, but I don't think my husband loves me and my submission. Because when I was dating my husband, we go to a church that marriage is a big thing. Marriage is promoted. And so that's what I want to get married because this is so great. It looks great. And then when I got married, I'm like, oh, this is what I signed up for. Because my husband's parents were married at the time 30 years, even more now, and his grandparents 50 years. So he was used to marriage. Literally when we got married, he brought me into the room. This is where I want my socks. This is where I want my underwear. This is my colors, my black. And I'm like, because my mom was married, but she wasn't married. She was doing her thing. She was the head. My granny was the head. So it's kind of like, it took a long time. Not saying I am submissive now because it's hard. I know it's the right thing to do. But it's just hard. And, I'm the oldest child. He's the oldest child. It's two headstrong people, two leaders trying to. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let y'all talk about submission.
Well, I heard you telling Juana something earlier when we were sitting on the floor about submission. Can you piggyback? You were saying something about, it's about how you think about it.
Right.
you know, women have a tendency to look at the word submit or submission as a negative word. So when you start to put negative energy and attach negative words to something that's supposed to be easily to be done, it becomes something that you resist and you fight against. My concept of looking at the word submit is, how do I look at making my husband happy? How can I please him? How can I make our marriage better? So a lot of times what you have to look at is, what can I give up so that we can go up? So,
Oh,
you
that
know,
makes it sound so good.
but even though it sounds good, but if you have, anything that you do is always a decision, you know? So if you want to have the best marriage, or if you want to have the best in anything that you do, even with your blog, you put the energy, you put the effort into making something the best that you want it to be.
I just think a lot of women, what I like, what can I give up so we can go up? I think a lot of women that maybe didn't come from a submissive household, didn't see their mom submissive, thinks that it's like they're losing themselves a little bit. You know what I mean? If I'm giving all this to my husband and, you know, but you really can't look at it like that. I mean, if you want to, not say do what the wife is supposed to do, but I mean, that's what a wife does. She caters to her husband, the children.
What do you think, I guess the question is this, what do you think happens when your husband is happy?
The household is happy.
The household.
Well, I hear the
The
other way.
opposite.
I
Me
hear
too.
the opposite.
I hear the opposite.
I hear when the wife is happy.
And maybe that's the world take on it. When the wife is happy, the house is happy. Maybe that's what the world has turned it into. But you know, I agree with what you're saying too. But I'm conditioned. If mommy is, the house is not clean, and he's not doing his part, and I'm doing everything, and I'm stressed and I'm tired, the house is not happy.
Right, but you know what, the thing that we always look at, and it's always taught that if mommy's not happy, then things are just gonna fall apart. So, you know, a lot of times we look at it as about us. It's about me. It's about me. So a lot of times if you give up part of me and part of who you are to make it's about the marriage. So it's about making things better, about, you know, bonding and creating something that's more greater than who you are.
For me, real quick, for me, the struggle was when I got married and started having kids and everything. He was not necessarily in the growth aspect. He had not yet gotten to the point where we have kids, let's do this together, let's make sure, you know, you got this, you got it. Now he's completely 360, but they've all can take care of themselves.
Yeah,
right.
No.
But, you know, if we go to a picnic and all 5 of us are there, then it's, can you take one kid? I got 4 plates in my hand, you know, I'm probably trying to feed myself plus the 3 kids, I'm holding the line up, and you sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's the mentality of, I love you, I submit to you, you do your part, I do my part.
Right.
Help me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it turns, as far as the submission part.
So much to say, so much to say. But I'm saying we have to submit to God in order for us to be submitted. And people, preachers preach that and they miss that part. Honestly, I never heard that until a year ago. And men hear you submit to me because they don't hear that part, but you need to submit to God first. So I think that's like a really deep topic that we can talk about for like 2 hours.
And time is up, and as you can see, the whole submission topic could be a subject in itself. But I do agree with April that the man is supposed to submit to God, Jesus Christ, which we all believe in, and as the wife submits to the husband. And we don't want, submission is not a negative word, it's not a bad word, but it also doesn't mean for the men who are watching, not for you to take advantage of your wife, and it doesn't mean that I run you.
Right.
That means you listen to me and I tell you what to do. It's still, you still respect your wife. And again, we hope that you chime in on this. Blog on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, on wife2010.com, and email us with your questions, concerns, and comments. And if you even have a show topic, please email us at wife2010.com. Once again, I'm Bernetta,
Angela,
April,
Ariana,
And Teresa.
and you are watching WIFE, which stands for
Why Isn't Forever Easy?
And we will see you on the next show, and we'll just give you a snippet of that topic. It will be the male ego, and a wife has dreams too. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
bye.